Madridistas, get ready. What just happened in European football is completely unexpected, and it could reshape the entire continental landscape next season. Xavi Alonso, the former Real Madrid coach who was dismissed just 2 months ago, has already found a new club. But what's truly explosive are the conditions he's demanding to take over. Conditions so bold that even Florentino Perez is left stunned. Before we go any further, let me remind you of something surprising. More than 90% of people watching our videos are not subscribed yet. If you want to stay ahead of the game, get exclusive insights, and never miss the biggest football stories, now is the time to subscribe. You'll be part of a community that knows everything before everyone else. So what exactly is going on? Xavi Alonso has reached an agreement with Liverpool Football Club, but this is far from a normal deal. He's asking for 3 major signings, and most importantly, a key Real Madrid player, the same one who nearly joined Liverpool before ending up at Madrid. Today, we're going to break it all down. Names, figures, and strategic implications. To fully understand the magnitude of this story, we need to go back to Xavi Alonso's time at Real Madrid. In the summer of 2025, he left Bayer Leverkusen after an extraordinary season, unbeaten champions of Germany, something never achieved before. That historic run made him one of the most sought-after managers in Europe. Real Madrid won the race. Fans and media welcomed him with huge excitement. Everything seemed perfect. A former Madrid player, a brilliant young coach, arriving to build a long-term project. The first few months were promising. The team showed consistency, results were decent, and his tactical ideas slowly started to take shape. Xavi has a very clear philosophy, one that requires time and discipline to fully implement. But football is not just about tactics, it's also about man management, and that's exactly where everything began to collapse. The turning point came during El Clasico. Madrid won the game, yes, but the real story wasn't the result. Around the 70th minute, Xavi Alonso decided to substitute Vinicius Jr., one of the team's most dangerous attacking players, for a more defensive option to protect the lead. On paper, it was a logical decision, but Vinicius didn't see it that way. His reaction was explosive, gestures, protests, visible frustration in front of everyone. Teammates, coaching staff, and cameras. It wasn't just a substitution anymore. It became a public challenge to the manager's authority. That moment changed everything. It marked the breaking point between Xavi Alonso and the dressing room. Vinicius, a highly influential figure in the squad, wasn't alone. Several players sided with him, not with the coach. From that point on, Xavi gradually lost control. The following months reflected that tension. Inconsistent performances, lack of identity, and a team that no longer looked aligned with its manager's vision. The final blow came in the Spanish Super Cup final against Barcelona. Madrid lost, and the next day the club announced Xavi Alonso's departure by mutual agreement. A phrase we all know usually means one thing: he was sacked. Alvaro Arbeloa stepped in, and something unexpected happened. The team improved. The atmosphere in the dressing room became calmer. Results got better. And the biggest irony of all? Real Madrid started looking like a better team without Xavi Alonso. But the real bombshell came afterward. While still coaching Real Madrid, while still being paid by the club, Xavi Alonso had already started negotiating with Liverpool back in November. Yes, November. At a time when he was still officially leading Madrid, still presenting himself as the future of the project, he was already planning his next move, with a direct European rival. That's a bold move, and a controversial one. Liverpool, on their side, are going through a difficult season. Currently sitting 5th in the Premier League and facing uncertainty in the Champions League, the club is looking for a fresh start. The agreement with Xavi Alonso is conditional. If Liverpool wins the Champions League, the current manager stays. If not, Xavi takes over in June on a 3-year deal, leading a full rebuild. And he's not coming alone. Xavi has set 3 major conditions. 1. Alessandro Bastoni, Inter Milan, 26, a top-level centre-back, strong defensively and excellent in build-up play. Perfect for Xavi's system. Estimated price, €92 million. Ironically, he was also a target for Barcelona, but Liverpool could hijack the deal. 2. Bradley Barcola, PSG, 23, one of Europe's most exciting young wingers, fast, skillful and capable of both scoring and creating. Price around €70 million, a bargain considering his potential. 3. Jude Bellingham, Real Madrid. This is the biggest shock. Xavi wants to sign one of Madrid's key players, the same one who almost joined Liverpool before choosing Real Madrid. Estimated price, €150 million. His current role at Madrid is less defined, making this move more realistic than it seems. Open quote, "My personal opinion, this entire situation is fascinating. Xavi Alonso represents the modern coach, someone who doesn't just manage games, but plans ahead, builds strategically, and even shapes the transfer market around his vision. It's brilliant, but also raises serious questions about ethics. How far can a coach go before loyalty and professionalism are compromised? And for Real Madrid, the lesson is clear. Managing the dressing room and maintaining balance can be just as important as tactical brilliance." Before we go any further, if you're still watching, it means this story has you hooked. So take 1 second right now. Hit that subscribe button, because this kind of deep analysis, mixing inside stories, strategy, and exclusive insights, is something you won't find anywhere else. And most importantly, tell me in the comments, should Bellingham stay at Real Madrid or move to Liverpool? Now let's get into the heart of the matter. Because what Xavi Alonso is building at Liverpool is not just a regular football project, it's a full-scale revolution. A carefully designed rebuild with one clear objective, to create a team capable of dominating Europe in the coming seasons. And at the centre of that project, there's one name that sends shockwaves through Madrid: Jude Bellingham. Yes, because contrary to what many people think, this transfer is not impossible. In fact, right now, it's more realistic than ever before. Why? Because Bellingham's situation at Real Madrid has changed. 2 seasons ago, he was the main man, the leader, the difference maker, the player who decided games. Everything revolved around him. But today, that's no longer the case. With Arbeloa taking charge, the system has evolved. A solid double pivot has been established, with more defensive profiles, while a more creative player operates ahead of them. And that leaves Bellingham in an uncomfortable position. He's not a defensive midfielder. He's not a traditional playmaker either. He's a modern box-to-box midfielder, someone who needs freedom to move, to arrive late in the box, to surprise defences, and to score. And in the current system, that freedom simply isn't there anymore. This is exactly where Xavi Alonso comes in. He knows Bellingham perfectly. He understands how to use him, how to unlock his full potential, and most importantly, he's ready to offer him something Real Madrid currently cannot guarantee: a central role, a team built around him, total trust. And in modern football, that's a powerful weapon. Because a player like Bellingham doesn't just choose a club, he chooses a project. If Liverpool comes with €150 million, and more importantly, the promise that he will be the centrepiece of the team, then the decision becomes much more complicated. Especially when you remember that Liverpool were already very close to signing him before he joined Real Madrid. This isn't a rumour. It was real. Very real. Now, the situation has changed, and what makes this even more dramatic is the timing. Real Madrid is finally finding stability under Arbeloa. The dressing room is calmer. Results are improving. Everything seems to be going in the right direction. But at the same time, a silent threat is rising in England. A threat that could strike directly at the core of Madrid's project. Because if Bellingham leaves, it's not just a transfer. It's a statement. A message to the entire football world. Even Real Madrid's key players are no longer untouchable. And this is where things go even deeper. Because this story is not just about transfers. It's about leadership, management, and long-term vision. Real Madrid may have made a mistake by underestimating the importance of dressing room balance. By allowing a situation like Vinicius's reaction to escalate, they weakened their manager's authority. And once that authority is gone, the entire project starts to crack. On the other hand, Xavi Alonso represents a new generation of coaches. He doesn't wait for things to happen, he anticipates. He plans ahead. He builds the next step while still living the current one. It's cold, it's calculated, but it's incredibly effective. Now let's be honest, this strategy also comes with huge risks. If Xavi fails at Liverpool, everything could collapse. Spending over €300 million, demanding specific signings, trying to lure a Real Madrid superstar, that's massive pressure. And at a club like Liverpool, expectations are enormous. But if he succeeds, then we could be witnessing the birth of a new European powerhouse, built entirely in his image. And this is where my opinion becomes even clearer. In my view, Real Madrid must act immediately to secure Bellingham, not just financially but tactically. They need to give him a clear role and restore his importance within the team. Otherwise, the temptation to leave will grow stronger. As for Xavi Alonso, his strategy is brilliant, but morally questionable. Negotiating with another club while still managing Madrid raises serious concerns, but it also reflects the reality of modern football. It's a constant chess game. In the end, this story is almost perfectly ironic. Real Madrid let Xavi Alonso go, and just a few months later he could come back to haunt them by taking away one of their most valuable players. Football sometimes writes stories that feel too dramatic to be real. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Bellingham could actually leave Real Madrid? Should the club be worried about Xavi's Liverpool project? And most importantly, who comes out on top in this story? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I know this debate is going to be intense. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and join the community. Because what's coming next might be even crazier.